Pretty much the first real story in the book that you will read about is a spiritual awakening that I had. So I was raised in a household of supernatural healings. My grandmother was supernaturally healed when she was about 46 years old. She was dying. She was in a neck brace and body cast. She had been sent home to die, and she didn't even have feeling in her body. Like, doctors had burned out the nerve ending. So she is literally like a woman in her 40s, frail and brittle, like she's in her 80s, and doesn't have a lot of feeling in her body. And she went to a service one night and she's miraculously healed. And then she had the gift of healing. So I was raised in a household that not only believed in supernatural healing because my grandmother experienced it, but I also experienced it a lot because I saw a lot of people healed of like cancer and depression and heart conditions and just wild things. I saw that my whole life, and I saw people delivered of things. When I say delivered, I mean set free and gained freedom of like darkness and evil and things like that. A lot of people might call like demonic oppression or depression. I saw a lot of that my whole life. For me, growing up was very different than maybe most people. I definitely was very curious and very intrigued my whole life about healing and about what is this all about, how does it work. I like to pray with people. I have prayed with people before they've been healed. But then as like you get older, you start like questioning, okay, like I'm like getting into my 20s and stuff, and like, what does this mean for me? How do I move forward with this in life? And that's where I was like in a super questioning phase of my life. And what caused the questioning more than anything is my grandmother that had been healed was sick, and her back, you know, she was in the hospital and her back, something was wrong with her. And I was very conflicted on the inside because it's like, did her miracle expire? Did she lose faith? Like, what's going on here? And I just learned with time that like God didn't care so much, that I had the answers to that in that moment. He really wanted me to see that I idolized my grandmother, and that wasn't healthy. Idolization is like something that we all do. You know, we're all human. So I learned that idolization was not healthy, and that's how my spiritual awakening happened. It forced me to have to wake up and go, oh, well, what do I believe for myself? And what does my relationship as Amanda Winder look like with God? Do I have conversations with him, or does she have conversations with him and tell me about it? Do I use her and abuse her for answers, or do I know how to go to Holy Spirit and converse with him back and forth to get an answer? And I learned a lot that I didn't really have a relationship with him. Everything that I had was more so through her and not of my own. It was not personal. And so that's something I had to cultivate. I had to really like lower my pride, and I had to lower my fear, and I had to really be honest and say, you know what, like I don't have a relationship with the Holy Spirit like I think I do. And a lot of what I think I have is really her relationship with Holy Spirit. And that's true for so many of us. So that was a whole spiritual awakening for me, to really realize that most of what I believed was based in my soul, which our soul is very important, and but not in my spirit. And our spirit is foundationally created to connect to Holy Spirit. So we want our that relationship to be based in our human spirit. So it's kind of like, this story is like a journey through my processing of what I thought about this time in my life. I honestly hated myself at 22. I hated my reality. I was really frustrated. I felt awakened for the first time and was like experiencing a lot of freedom, but at the same time I was like, I hate like all of these feelings I'm feeling. They're super uncomfortable, and I'm having to go through this process of refinement and letting God like pick out all of these impurities inside of me and all of this pride and stuff inside of me, so that I could develop and grow into what he envisioned me to like become and things